record, and we're gonna just come to the floor. I'm gonna stay on the floor right now still. Because I do want to have a little bit of a feeling of support, and I want to kind of find this place, try to see where it's comfortable that the soles of your feet are touching together, and your sit bones, both of your sit bones are like anchoring down on the ground. And as you do this, you start breathing in and out. See how the cadence of fighting gravity through breathing in and succumbing to it, just this very small action creates a sort of flow that activates your spine. Use this awareness of the breath, so spinal awareness that the breath unfolds to really grow from your sit bones to the top of your head as you allow gravity to relax your knees and opening. I'm going to open our eyes now. Place your hands on your heels, or if you feel comfortable, even put it more towards your bum. It's different for everyone. If your external rotation is here, that's fine. A place of no pain, just stretch. And now let's focus on our hips and this very kind of primordial effect of just curling our lower back and straightening. So this is kind of like a basic core and lower back awareness exercise. So as you breathe in, you grow. As you breathe out, you curve. So grow and curve, and you start feeling heat and blood flashing through. We're going to come to the center, and we're going to try to, as we keep our sit bones on the floor, we're going to try to bring our forehead towards the sole of our foot. And we can do this slowly, and we're going to use the breath to do it. So as we breathe out, we relax. You breathe in, you grow, and relax, delve deeper. Really bring yourself to an awareness of the breath and an awareness of the muscles, allowing for a stretch. Now we're going to slowly roll our spine up. We've been sort of giving the spine, contracting and elongating it, but what other movements can we do with the spine? So we can rotate and twist. So what we're going to do is just find, you can relax a little bit here, and you can just try to place, let's start with the right foot in front in this position, and you're just going to rotate to one side. Breathe out and come to the center. Other side. And breathe out. Come to the center. One more time on each side. Now next time we're going to twist, and now we're bowing, and so we move our hands to the diagonal, to our right diagonal, and we rest our forehead on the top of our right knee. Feeling a stretch that goes all the way from the left sitting bone to to your left hand, opening your side, coming back, twisting to the left, and bowing. One more time. Really enjoy the twist. Really use it to open up, stretch your arms, bring yourself a little bit more down, and stretch more the muscles that are around your hip joints. Growing awareness, growing space, letting go, and coming back to the center. Now, we're gonna go and do a little recoiling to the floor. So we're gonna count, when we count until 10, we are laying our weight completely on the floor. And then we count backwards from 10 into 1, and we're back here on this position. So, depending on how comfortable it is for you. So this is the starting position, and we will go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Weight on the floor. And stay here on 0. Try to actively release any tension, any holding, your lower jaw, the top of your head, the points of your back that are touching the floor. Take a deep breath out, and in you start going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So everyone can have their own counts. Let's do it 4 times. You can feel that this is a big abdominal core exercise. So, let's really try that we release through our exterior, through our extensions, our hands, our feet, and our core is the last thing to disengage. And when it disengages, it really splats on the floor. Let's really appreciate that moment of 0. Take a breath and then come back up. So we try to do it together 4 times. So 2 times down, 2 times up. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Release, breathe in. Out and in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and breathe. And breathe in. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Breathe. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go a little bit on the sides. So see this, just this homolateral shift, which we've spoken a lot about. Which you just let your body roll towards the right side or left side, and explore freely this relation, this sort of swinging. So the previous exercise, we were very much trying to do this action. So from the center out and out to the center. And now we're really transferring from side to side. You can really use the floor and gravity here, or try to maybe even make it smaller. It just happens on your hips and falls. Just stay, or even it's just a very small intention going to the side. It's very important here is that you keep your breath loud and clear and beautiful, exploring these movements. And try to keep it curious and simple. Because what we're going to try to do is that we're going to try to instill sort of a somatic sensation into it. So I want you to just, as you breathe and as you explore right and left, I want you to close your eyes and just think about waves. So do you know if you just keep on sending waves from one side to the other in the beach, so they come to the beach and then they recoil. So think about waves, small and big, with the noise, distinctive wave noise of coming from and going back. And just see it in your head, see the color of the water, the taste of the water, temperature of the water. And just imagine that this movement that is happening, that you're creating, is water. So here, just move from your side to another. This image, this vision of water becomes you. That your own sensation create this, explore the feeling of being water forever, going against the sand and coming back, forever being a wave in the ocean. Sound of the ocean, you part of it. And start feeling that your bones are like the foam that these waves provoke. So they're not heavy at all. They're extremely light, extremely fuzzy. Your bones are foamy. See how that feels to have spine made of foam, arms made of foam. this feeling of incredible lightness of your bones being made of foam. Keep on seeing that first image that you made in your brain of that wave, that ocean. Let these two thoughts intertwine and let the thought ripple in the body. Let it not only be present in your brain, but send it through your body, your muscles, your bones. Your bones are foam, and your organs are made of seaweed. And through the space between your bones and muscles and organs, there's fishes that pass through. Till you're not longer a wave, but you are just water. Calm, calm, calm. See, no waves. All water together. You are water. And you are identical to other trillions and trillions and trillions of atoms of water. Share identicalness. They're just stagnant and light. Open your eyes. And grab a little water. So this is a little practice. I'll give you just a second to come back from the ocean. And this is very much like a very sensorial sort of improvisation with dance and with vision. Not, I wouldn't say vision, but more of like, this is somehow how somatic thought intertwines with movement. So we are kind of taking away this idea of fantasy, of, you know, imagination, and purely injecting it in our awareness with the body. So, you know, as we warm up and we try to feel our, you know, as we, you know, get more aware and more sensitive with our body and our feelings, we can also inject it with these thoughts, with these ideas, and this not only creates a very interesting and very sometimes even symbiosis between thought and body, and hopefully it helps to kind of understand the connection that I'm going to do now with pain and with feeling, because the same way that we feel pain, we can feel this somatic perception in our bodies, and we can sometimes use it to really kind of direct and use movement in a healing way to release, you know. So I wanted to kind of turn, before we continue dancing, I want to turn the attention back to you, and I want you to kind of just describe an area or of your body where you have pain, and try to describe how it feels. You know, how does it actually feel? Let's try to put it in words. And, you know, thinking about feeling as something sensorial. So does it taste? Is it cold? Is it, you know, is there like, does it feel like knives? Is it a constant pain? So let's try to find language about that one place of our body that always hurts. So, Aaliyah, do you want to go first?
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Do you want to go, Vivek?
sure. I today really enjoyed that exercise because I was focused on the upper back and the chest. I think like basically the same type of point on both sides. And
So
it
like
feels,
close to your sternum, you would say.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, close to my sternum. On the backside, like similarly located, maybe a little bit higher. And it feels like on the backside, sometimes it feels like something is just like stuck. And if I move around, I can get it out. The chest side, it can feel a little bit more a like a dull poking, um,
Mhm.
and not necessarily like something that like needs to be worked out, but something that needs to be mm, kind of like brought into awareness, something like that.
So it's like an area that you don't feel as much as you feel the rest of the things of
Yeah,
the space around. Okay. All
yeah.
right. Cool. What about you, Yeshi? Is there a part of your body that gives you pain
Yeah,
constantly?
well, not necessarily constantly, but definitely today I actually have some pain on my sternum.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and this exercise actually helped me realize that it was there, and kind of like, because when I'm riding my bike, I feel it sometimes. It's like a little prickly, and you know, it's hard to locate. But I think the exercise helped me locate it, and even visualizing water. I think there's something definitely to the somatic perception, because it, I like lost consciousness of the pain, but then I focus back on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I've been able to identify where it's coming from. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So you also have you have something on your sternum. And how would you say like that the pain begins, or what kind of movements? Like you mentioned, for example, riding your bike. Like could you like specify exactly what is the thing you do that starts that feeling or that sense of like uncomfortability?
I think it's usually based on my posture when I'm like kind of, actually, I realized earlier when I'm like biking and crossing an intersection and I'm kind of like afraid, then I kind of like tense up. And then that impacts just how my shoulders are relaxed. And I thought it was like maybe the height of my bike seat or the bars, but I think it's actually when I'm just like clenching the bars in fear of like a collision or
Yeah.
something. And thank
Yeah,
goodness I'm usually
okay.
fine. But I think that, yeah, that might be part of it. But yeah.
I see you nodding your head, Vivek. Do you also, does that also make sense to you?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's well said. Yeah.
yeah. And Aaliyah, what about you now?
I have a follow-up question. I
Tell
don't,
me.
Yashi, I don't know if you're at a desk most of the day or what, or like what your ergonomics, your work setup is like. But if you're like this at your desk, I don't know, that could also
That definitely
trigger.
triggers it. Yeah. Thankfully, I haven't been, that's something that before used to really trigger it. But I do think that, yeah, I definitely, this exercise, and I think earlier realizing like,
Mm,
and I think that's part of the thinking too, how it, like this fear of car or collision, or, that
mm,
anticipation, that's
mm.
what contributed to like, you know, so yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. Very interesting. Aaliyah, do you have a spot in your body that gives you trouble? No.
No,
Your
not, no,
existence is painless,
for
painful.
the most part, I have to, it's bizarre, but I can talk about one that I haven't felt in a while, but it is persistent randomly when in 2016, 17, I think I was training for the marathon, and then I had a really bad injury. Soccer, I was playing like a recreational soccer game, and I injured like this part right here, like right behind the kneecap on the back of the leg. I
Oh,
think it's called
behind the kneecap.
the yeah, the Kreuzband in German,
Yeah.
like the crossband or something.
Yeah.
So it comes back every now and then if I'm running a lot, but I don't really feel it, and I'm not
Mhm.
running a lot because it's freezing. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, those pains are like, there are things that really, like, if you're feeling something recurrent like that, it kind of becomes a feeling in itself, like an entity inside the body. So for this next exercise, I want you to, so I'm actually going to give an image that is, because for example, for Yeshi and for Vivek, that is the same. And I'm going to give you a different one, Aliyah. And what we're going to do is that we're going to go on like an individual exploration for 5 minutes, in which we're going to, use very small movements. And we're going to kind of linger in that space between dance and just awareness. Oop, there goes Vivek. He's going to probably come back in a second. Here you go. And I have two sort of different images that I want you to work with. So the first one is the shoulder one and the sternum one. I want you to think of, do you know Saint Sebastian? Do you know the story
in
of Saint
Spain,
Sebastian?
oh,
The one that has this the arrows in his heart. Do you remember?
I
So
don't
it's
know.
a, let me see if I can just do a very quick. Yes, arrows. All right, I'm going to do here we go. I'm going to do a little screen share. And as you can see here,
Hmm.
do you see this arrows? This is a very, this exists a lot in, you see here, in Catholic churches. He's
Hmm.
also strangely a queer Christian, like Catholic icon, Saint Sebastian. So your imagery, your thought is going to be that this pain that you feel is an arrow. So I want you to feel as if the arrow is coming out, as if you're taking the arrow, and out of the taking this arrow, movement arises. And for you, Aliyah, I want you to think about your cross bands, right? And
Yep.
think about them as you know how a tampon gets very, very wet? Yes. So let's think about your crossbands as tampons, but the inverse process. So from getting very wet to growing a lot, thus like releasing. The same thing as cotton. So it's just becoming larger and larger and larger and
Fluffier.
larger. Yes, exactly. So take a little bit of time to think about that. So, and see if that image, so you first have to get to that space of awareness through your breath. And we're first going to do the arrows. To really feel that the pain is really caused by that arrow being there, and slowly the arrow is being released, is sliding out of your body. This creates relaxation exactly in that point that hurts. Close your eyes so that you can really focus on this visualization. As you breathe in, you grab the arrow, you breathe out, and take it out. I'm using my hand here just as a extra. Very much like something coming out, and there's almost like through the hole of that arrow, the rest of everything toxic and painful comes out. And your crossbands are like an inflatable castle. So at the moment, they don't have any air. And as you breathe out, imagine your crossbands filling up with air. So you're putting the air out of your body into the crossbands. They're like inflatable. Using the floor. Repeat this visualization a few more times on your own. Imagine that the arrow now is not really, really thin, but it's actually very thick. So it's like making a big hole on your sternum, hitting all of your solar plexus, and as you breathe out, you remove this big part of it. In the exact part of the body that provokes, that is where you feel pain, replace that feeling with pain with this image. So the pain is an arrow that is buried really deep in your sternum, and with your head, you breathe out, you take it off. And this arrow slides out of the body, opening a hole that all toxic air, all the bad feelings and pain, body comes out. Breathe in deep, and now your crossbands, they swallow up with air like they're an inflatable castle. That place that has pain becomes an inflatable castle, being inflated every time that you breathe out. Keep using your breath, and slowly this feeling of inflating goes not from your crossbands to your whole body. So every time, imagine that your whole body is, you're like an inflatable version of yourself. So there's only rubber and air. And as you breathe in, you fill up with air, and then you breathe out, air comes out. And that's your initiator for movement. And be with your eyes closed for further immersion in this vision. Air coming out, being completely devoid of volume and freedom. Full volume to your body. Volume decreasing. Stay with the breath, stay with the floor, with gravity, with your perception. Allow this mortal flesh that is your body to become something else through the power of belief. Explore being an inflatable doll. Maybe sometimes air comes very slowly and fills you up. And dribbles you when it comes out. Or you fill up very, very fast, like one of those Michelin blow-up dolls. Explore this physicality. You have no organs. You only have air. All of your insides are air. Your skin is rubber. Explore the sensation. And remember, if it gets very confusing, or if you get self-aware that you're like, oh, I'm actually not an inflatable balloon, just close your eyes, come back to the breath, and allow that, just the filling up of your breath and exhalation becomes a blueprint for this visualization. Roll up tall. And you are really there. Just continue. Keep the breath strong and long. Use the floor to support. Explore different scales of movement from very small to very big. Slowly come back to sitting on your sit bones. Take your time. If you are wearing socks, you can remove them now. And just want to do a little practical exercise, and I still want you to be engaged in this, in the breath. So the breath is still going. We're still in and out with time, and we're gonna go on to staff pose, sitting on our sit bones, inflating this blow up doll and coming back, breathing out. And you're coming back to staff pose and keep on using the breath. We're gonna close our right knee on top of the left. And we're gonna place our right hand on your left knee. And we're gonna twist and blow and unfolding and back to center on the other side. Simple mermaid. And we're gonna come back to cowbird's pose. We're gonna place our hands on the back and we're gonna extend. Breathe in and really feel in your whole body inflating. We're gonna go back to staff pose and we're gonna bow. If you need to bend your knees, that's totally fine. Imagine your body without any air, completely shriveled, and now you breathe in. Try to experience that easiness that comes, the flow of air again. We're gonna bring our right leg, and we're gonna hug it with our left knee. Place our right hand in the back, twist. And now we're gonna come back to center, place our right lower arm, raise our leg up, and just like an inflatable balloon on the up breath, we're gonna stretch the leg and out. And send it back to staff pose. We bow and come back. Use your right hand, your right elbow, locking the right knee and twist. And now you come again. I'm an inflatable doll, and this is so easy. And I can fold completely. I come back to boat's pose, so just roll a little bit back on your sitting bones to your lower back and slowly come to coward's pose. Hold here and now breathe in and exude. Become completely shriveled up with air. Notice the difference here from when you joined class. If this visualization, this somatic approach has actually enabled you to go a little bit deeper But again, you know, like once you came to the class, once you arrived here, you were made of flesh and bones, and right now you're just an inflatable ball. So obviously you're much more flexible. And from here we go back to staff pose, cow first pose, and from here go a little bit back. We open to full stretch, and now let's really focus on being comfortable, flexing our feet. We're gonna twist. Either place both hands on the feet, or if you need, you can also place your right hand and bow. Really unshrivel yourself. And now go to the middle, bow, and come. Sorry, from here you come to center. Again, really feeling, you remember that motion that we were doing at the beginning of the class? You should be able to feel that here as well. There should be this motion here, and now we breathe in and we twist, grab foot or our knee, whatever feels comfortable, and bow, and really fully experience stretch by imagining your body filling up and releasing completely with air. Your whole body mass full of air, and without air, come back here, and now you're gonna grab our knees through our cross bands, and now we're slowly gonna bring it together, and we're gonna hug our knees against our chest, and we're sitting, and let's do a little bit of rolling. See if you can really imagine that you're just a balloon filling up with air and out of air. Filling up with air and out of air. And filling up with air one more time. And out of air, and come. Roll to your feet. See if you can come here. If you cannot put your heels on the floor, just raise and come here. Both positions are totally fine. We're gonna come to this is a very, if you need to come here, that's also okay. So what we're gonna do here is that we're going to sort of try to create movement that comes from the core of our body. So again, try to imagine that in this position, our whole body is like a dandelion. So we're in the field, we're very light, and we have thousands of other dandelions, and the wind passes through. So light that it just creates this undulation, this movement. Not focus so much. You're not focusing being exactly that, but just seeing that image and letting it be injected into your body, into your feeling, into your sensation. And we're gonna place our hands in front. We're gonna open our hips. We're gonna have our big toes touch, and sending our hips back to child's pose. Comfortable child's pose. You can have your arms in front, and stay here for a few breaths. And feeling the air inflating you. Back. See if we have. Oh no, we're running out of time. I still wanted to do a little music moment, a little dance. Does everyone have to go right now, or can we do a 5 minute
I have
extra?
to go. I have to go in 5 minutes ish.
Oh,
But
okay.
don't let me stop you. I'll just leave.
Okay, good. So, how is it you there, time, Yashi?
I have to go in 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna have to do the dancing some other time. But thank you so much. How was it for you? This feeling? Did at any point the somatic imagery affect or kind of like disrupted your being here and now somehow?
A little bit for me, yeah. I found it difficult to try to embody the blow up doll. Yeah, it was strange for me to like imagine what that inanimate object would feel like.
Yeah.
Of like
Or being that inanimate object. So you're like
yeah.
adding a personality
Well,
into it.
also because they're just so light, right? Like they're not heavy. There's no
Yeah.
density or volume, so it's like they wouldn't feel the floor. It wouldn't feel the floor as I feel the floor, and I
Yeah.
can't change that feeling.
Yeah, no, you cannot obviously, you know, that like it's
Yeah,
where it's more on the field, less on the field of magic and more on the field of
yeah,
imagination, you know,
yeah,
and how that can blend. But you know, like the blow, like for sure there's some that are maybe easier to connect, like the water. I think it's easiest
yeah.
for everyone to kind of connect because we are made of water.
And the waves, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that everyone kind of has their like things that are kind of hard. Like I find it for some reason very hard to like visualize or like kind of try to create a somatics of fire. Like that's very
That would be
difficult
an
for me.
interesting one.
Yeah, but if you look at like for example, the floor is lava, this game, you know, it's all based on sensorial and somatics, you know, like
Yeah.
you believe the floor is lava, so therefore kids go like and kids have this sort of like imagination and sensory approach to things very more vivid. So it's good to practice, like it's I feel like this is a good practice to do when we have problems that seem to be like not have a solution, because we are being given with an impossible task of being a blow up doll. For example, how was it for you, Yeshi? Your first movement guild session. I hope this wasn't too cryptic for.
No, I really enjoyed it. And I really I like the I like this idea of somatic perception, and I like, you know, visualizing and trying to visualize it as much as possible to like realize it. So yeah, I agree with the blow up doll, but I think for the water it was really effective because yeah, like imagining that weightlessness in that respect. So I'm being held up by something.
Yeah. There's like also two completely different like textures, right? Like water, rubber, air.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was it for you, Vivek?
It was good. It was really good. I know they may, Yeshi and Aaliyah may have to go. It's been great to practice with you.
Yeah.
I had a blast the
Great to meet you
arrows
all.
as well. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, the
Well,
arrows
thank
for
you.
that was
Thank you. Good to meet you
Thank
all.
you, everyone.